Hey everyone, Bugman here. Just going to give a pretty much last review on the Kill Devil diesel heads now that I've got my factory Ford heads out. Um, Wanted to just give a side-by-side comparison. I've got one of the other heads sitting there, so people can actually see the difference between. This is a factory Ford head right here. 231,000 miles on this. Actually, is very clean on the inside. I guess my oil changes and everything. I don't do too bad. I run 5W40 full synthetic. No sludge buildup. Absolutely none. I've went through, done. It looks pretty darn good. But the valves were getting bad. Was losing a little compression. Absolutely no blow by. You just tell they were tired. I know I did blow two of the cylinders on this head in particular. Looked like a lot of sludge stuff on the side. Looked like the rocker box was actually leaking. Um, and I've got cracked injector bores. I'm trying to think. I'm backwards here. I probably can't actually show you that. You can actually see the crack in one of these, but I don't know if I can get in on that. It's that one right there. You can actually see there's a crack in that, running vertical. But anyway, so comparing these side by side, wow, there's weight-wise, no, these are ship weight, 88 pounds on the Kill Devil diesel heads, and I think stock Ford's supposed to be 78 or 80 pounds even. I didn't take the time to bring my scale out of the bathroom and run it down here and weigh them. Physically, I'll tell you right now, I can judge pretty close on weight, and I'll guarantee that these Kill Devil diesel heads are heavier. There's also some areas of being beefier. Let's see how this comes out. This is the rocker box bolts on the intake side. They come straight out on Kill Devil diesels, and these are round. Quite a bit of a difference there. I didn't know if that was an actual problem area. Not sure why that area in particular has been beefed up. In my other video on them, I'd explained, get the light right for you guys, injector hold down clamps are a lot bigger. And then of both heads, the very last clamp is just like factory, but it's bigger, and I measured it. I actually measured from the bottom of the injector cup to the top. I have it on the factory head, but on the Kill Devil diesel head, they're within 0.02 a piece, so there is no problems. I was a little worried, why is this one not machined and the rest of them were, but they were all within perfect specs, so that's good. I need to measure my factory head and just kind of see. I mean, there's a copper crush washer on the bottom of your injector, so how many thousandths can you get away with it being off? Probably a lot, because Ford, well, it wouldn't be Ford's fault, it would be International built these motors, so them and their issues, and factory tolerances are going to be totally different. The webbing doesn't exactly look any bigger as far on the outside here. I shouldn't say webbing, I should say the outside rail. Just those actually are bigger, but yeah, you get around here and this outside thickness is all the same. As I stated before, the valve, the spring seats are all good. Anthony at Super Duty Service was doing, I believe it's TJ's. It was either TJ or Jason's Chinese castings. I don't remember which one. he was finding that some of the spring seats were smaller than the spring. I think that would cause a serious problem. There'd be some binding going on, or you could twist that spring as it's trying to work and be an issue. On the factory heads, of course, you have the cutouts for serial number, stuff on the webbing. If I'm now going to say webbing correctly. So that one has a place for it. So is this, but there's no serial numbers here. Kill Devil did. They've got their name CNC'd there, and I even have serial numbers on the outside of the head. Something I did research real quick, because I thought all the Pro Max heads that I have researched before, they were putting, would be right there where the light is shining. There's my finger. You can see it. On all of the heads, they had changed and put the freeze plugs on the inside of the head. I don't know what anyone else's opinion is, but I think that would be the dumbest thing you could possibly ever do, is put a freeze plug where if it blows or if it leaks, you're going to leak coolant water into your oil system. You want your freeze plugs on the outside. I don't know what dumb engineer thought that would be an okay thing when they created it. Because the Kill Devil diesel heads are supposedly from Pro Max, made to their specifications, bare castings, and then they do the machining and put all the hardware and everything into it. I researched the Pro Max heads, and all the pictures are showing those freeze plugs being inside, and these don't. These are almost identical to how the Ford factory head is. So that is a great thing. I wouldn't have actually bought the heads. I don't care if they would have come from Kill Devil Diesel with freeze plugs on the inside. There's no way I would have bought them. That's just my personal preference. Sorry if I upset anybody with it, but let's stick fire into the open can of a gasoline and see what happens. You know, duh. Let's use our brains on certain things. Everything looks great. Set this down. I did take the gaskets. It's something you always want to make sure. Yeah, there's a tang on your intake gasket. It's got to be on the bottom facing the intake. That would bolt on away, so it would be away from the head. And so when this bolts on, let's line that up. There is just a hair of metal that does show if it was bolted directly on. So even on your factory, see, those are lined up, and you can see the metal. It is the same on the Kill Devil diesel head, which I wasn't exactly, not unhappy about it. I just thought that theirs would be a little bit more machined. They offer porting and such. I'm going to go ahead and port those out because I don't like that. I'm not going to port the whole entire runner, just the outside port match gaskets, so that way as air flows towards your intake, it's not tumbling on a sharp piece of metal. So I'm going to burr those down, probably just use a stone. I don't think it's necessary to put the actual cutting diamond head on that has teeth. Not going to go that far. I'm just going to use a stone and smooth those out. Same goes for the exhaust. Let's bring my light up here. The exhaust was a little, they're not as actually concentric, if I'm thinking the right word. On the circle, you can see it's got a little notch right there. I don't like that. Same thing, I'm going to gasket match those, and so that way it flows just a little bit better. If you take the, I can pull this up too. They're not exactly light by any means. The factory ones are very circular. There is no burrs and stuff on them. So that was kind of odd. I thought those ought to be absolutely perfect, but they were not. The machining's great. Any there's, you know, the light's picking up some scratches. They're just lines and stuff. There's oil still all over these. I haven't cleaned these up and set them up for install yet, so I've got to clean everything up. So any lines you're seeing, I've run my fingernail over everything. There's no marks, anything. There it is. One big thing. Absolutely, I believe in what Anthony at Super Duty Service says, that the Ford factory heads don't have gaskets on the exhaust manifold. They're supposedly perfectly machined. They match them up. There's no leaks. Oh, whatever you want to say with that. I can't believe they don't have a gasket on there in the first place. I don't care that these are brand new heads. I'm still using used exhaust headers, so I'm going to put a gasket on like you're supposed to. You should, because they're probably just, you know, they're warped, they're used, there's 200,000 miles on them. And let me line this up. If I can get them. So yeah, you can see it's off, but it's off on factory as well. The exact same. So I'm going to make those a little bit more concentric and get those lined up. Not going to do a full-blown port and polish or anything like that. I just like it to flow a little bit smoother. But all in all, I can't complain. There should not be any problems with these heads. The finish is phenomenal. I got the O-ring, of course, I think they only sell them in O-ring for Kill Devil Diesel. They put the good valves in. Because I've always heard Pro Max head valves need to be replaced immediately. They have junk Chinese valves. And that would make me worry if they've got crap valves, then wouldn't Pro Max heads probably have crap valve seals as well. And these have the good valve seals. Let's see those in there. I guess I could show you on the caliper. Get that. Bear with me. Sorry. Alright, and you're going to be upside down and probably can't see that with the crappy lighting in here. 3.758. I know there's a bunch of gunk on this head. I'm going to wiggle it down. 3.748. And these heads have never, my factory heads never been milled, never been off the truck. I've actually put up probably 20,000 miles I've put up with the cracked injector bore and replaced my coolant 3 times flushing it. Found a stupid DIY ideal. Kind of looked at it and decided that wasn't it. Got lucky. A friend of mine had the bulletproof diesel injector bore fix where you're supposed to pump the sealant into the injector bore. It's supposed to seal. 3 and 5 was bad, and that didn't work out. Got one of them sealed. One retested on the 2, and number 5, I believe, did not seal. The one that you can actually physically see the crack on. Tried it again, still didn't. It did not. It passed the bubble test, or not the. Yeah, but as far as bubble test, if I filled WD-40 into the injector bore and pressurized my coolant system and didn't get any bubbles out of it, and I was like, all right, she's good. And I don't think I got 100 miles and went and checked the coolant, the degas bottle, and sure enough, I had fuel back into it again. So that is the whole point of going to Kill Devil Diesel. Just didn't feel like turning around and putting another factory head on that's got that problem. I know that seems like other people's why the injector bores cracking on passenger sides, usually never on the driver's side, it does happen, has happened, but it is extremely rare. And like people said, just go get yourself a passenger head and throw it on. It's like, might as well just build her and do it nice. I got really lucky. My cylinder bores looked good. They weren't amazing, but cross hatching was really nice. Hardly any of a rim at all. Just barely could feel anything. Want to note and I'm kind of being an airhead right now, bouncing back and forth my ideas. Valve recession seems quite a bit. I don't know the specs. I haven't looked them up.